Namaste. Welcome to another edition of Navimash podcast. Today we are again back with a new episode. So today we have chosen a very interesting and important topic today, which is everybody knows, from a common person to a doctor to engineer, lawyer, businessman. All are talking about AI and AI's impact on their lives, their jobs, and how it affects them. So I thought, why don't we discuss in our podcast? So I have invited a friend of mine who has done some work on not AI but AI related things. So he can give his perspective, his understanding, and his anecdotes how AI is used by corporates, by organizations, and how it is going to impact. So today's talking point is not specifically on AI itself, but the impact of AI and especially AI plus AGI will have on our lives for the coming future. So, Namaste Ajay.
Namaste. Thanks, Bhupender. Thanks for having me here. Really nice to be here and talking about these things. Yeah.
Yeah, so like me and Ajay would discuss all these things in our private conversations. I thought, why don't we discuss this with people on a podcast that more people can get enlightened on what we talk about. Okay, so let's start our discussion. So first of all, we have, I think not too many people would have heard the term AGI. So, what is the difference between AI and AGI?
Okay. So basically, AI stands for artificial intelligence, and AGI stands for artificial general intelligence. So this is some form of way how we see a computer able to do certain things, right? So when we talk about AI, which is currently where we are, the current state we have of our computers ability to do certain things is very specific. They can only do very specific things, right? So whenever we someone creates an AI, it is created to do a very specific things. For example, if you talk about chat gpt, right? So it's created to do a very specific things, which is to interact with user, right? But when it comes to doing things, right? So for example, uh, I have to book my appointment, right? Or any random things that I usually do, any sort of things that anyone, a human would want to do. So if an AI is able to do that thing, we call it artificial general intelligence. The matter of the fact is that once we achieve AGI, we have an artificial intelligence that is able to do almost anything a human can ever do, right? So then the question comes, right? If an AI can do this thing, you know, why do we need humans to do that thing? So that's the AGI.
Understood. So, let me summarize it a little bit more for the general audience. So, an AI would be, let's say, there is a AI created for lawyers. So somebody can ask questions, info regarding specific law related issues, and it will be able to give you the answer. But that law specific AI created for lawyers would not be able to answer queries on, let's say, how specific doctors give suggestions.
Yes, yes,
But
yes,
yeah,
exactly.
but AGI would be able to actually perform general tasks which we perform at our level, like let's say ordering food, okay, going to a bank and depositing money, or buying a cinema ticket, or doing online shopping. So online shopping again, I would be have my own specific preferences, what I want to buy, when I want to buy, what colors I like. So AGI will be able to actually mimic that interface and will be able to shop on my behalf because it would know my preferences. So general tasks which humans perform right now cannot be performed by an AI agent, but when AGI is able to go to that level of intelligence, it will be able to mimic human behavior. Correct?
Yes, that's exactly right.
Got it. So that part out. So let's now delve deeper into this. So we have lots of books are written. There are a lot of podcasts around who would tell, okay, AGI will be reality next 2 years, next 3 years, or maybe AGI. Some people would also say AGIs will be available in next 6 months. So, in your opinion, because you do some work, you have also done some technical work and some operational work related to AI implementation and other things. So, in your opinion, because you know a lot of people who do work on this, in your opinion, uh, is ChatGPT 5 uh, capable of becoming AGI?
So this is a very debatable question. So right now, I can assure you, no one in this entire world knows the answer. Right.
Okay.
So even Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI himself, doesn't know that. And to be truly honest, you know, I have looked into ChatGPT 5 that has been recently released, and it's nowhere near what we consider an AGI, right? So the road is long, and we have a long way to go to even reach there. So in the near future, I think we will have, I won't say about the AI itself, but intelligent systems that are able to mimic a lot of work that a lot of companies are doing internally, right? So for example, if I need to, from a financial perspective, I need to review, right, a financial report. So I might need to ask someone who is financial expert to do this thing. But if we create an intelligent system that kind of uses an AI along with certain uh, information about finance related knowledge, then that system will be able to do that thing. So these kind of intelligent systems are expected to come in next few years, that will speed up a lot of these processes which are currently run manually. But yeah, the the exact AGI is long way to go.
Understood. So now, correct. I think recently there was one news story from Perpetuity CEO. He mentioned that, okay, the Perpetuity AI agents will be able to now eliminate few white collar jobs, and he has actually told in the interview or some media outlet that we have already able to actually get the work done that was done by a white collar human being as an employee. And now that people get scared out of this. Okay. So can you give us a little bit more perspective? Because if you go back, let's say 200 years, so we had horse-driven cars. Okay, then we had a steam engine come in and replace them. Okay, then we had a steam engine went away. Now we are on internal combustion engine. Okay, I see. So now oil has replaced steam. So now a lot of people are saying, okay, the fourth revolution that we'll have on industrial revolution is going to be far-reaching in terms of its impact on human beings, how humans interact, how humans live and die, is going to have a far more larger impact than what the horse, coal, and the oil had on our lives.
Yeah, I think that is particularly true. And see, the thing is that we live in a kind of a world that continually evolve, right? And the speed of evolution, technological evolution, I mean, is growing exponentially, right? So as we move forward, a new and new technologies are coming that are able to implement things that people used to do it m- manually, right? So this is not something new, and as you have already said that this has already happened earlier. When we have this general purpose technologies come into play, that kind of revolutionize the way people work, and as expected, as a consequence, right, the earlier ways of working are gone, right? So people no more manually push the horse cart, right? No, horses are not required to, make people travel from one place to another. Oil came, the cars came, motor came, right? Now we have a different kind of thing. We have AI, which will be able to do a lot of things. So Google already has, subsidiary called Waymo, which is a robotic taxi, which doesn't require a driver. It just, takes care of itself from the AI perspective, right? So these kind of technology will keep on coming. It was there before this kind of a change. It will happen now, and in the future there will come something else that that will totally revolutionize how people work. And when that comes, right, people will definitely, lose jobs, because certain jobs will become obsolete no matter what you do. But that doesn't mean the end of the world, because when new technologies come, right, new jobs gets created, right? So if you go back, 3 decades earlier, you must have not even known that, video blogging can be a job, right? So so we can never know, sitting here in the present, what future, brings, and what kind of new jobs that will create it. The thing is that, this world is created by human, right? Everything, even the AI is created by humans, and the objective of AI is to serve humans. That is the most important thing. This is not some kind of an alien technology who has an objective that is different from what humans want to do. So everything is for humans, and when it is for humans, it will be able to do certain things that will aid human, right? So that is the most important things. And yes, so now people who think that, their jobs might be lost, I think, they have to think in a different perspective. This is a very fast evolving world, and in this world, it is very essential for people to, also upskill themselves, to understand what's coming, and not to, get threatened by it, but to embrace it, and, choose it as a tool in their inventory rather than something like an opponent.
Okay, so now let me play a bit of devil's advocate here. Okay. So, one thing is important is that the pace of change that is AI is enabling is far, far more faster than we had seen even at the dot com era. Okay. So, what do you think the role of governments, institutions are going to be? And one more important part is security and safety, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But let's talk about the role of institutions and governments in terms of taming the AI horse, because it is growing at. So generally, the governments or institutions would be two steps ahead of the industry. Okay, in general, and they will create laws and other regulations which will be actually helping it to grow in a safer way, safer manner. But now we have seen from dot com era that the general industry and the processes are much more complex, and now governments and institutions are lagging behind in terms of regulating them, okay, and putting safety guardrails so that they don't harm human society at itself at large. So is there going to be a conflict? Let me bit more clear. So, correct, we have heard of correct cyberpunk. So, in the cyberpunk universe, the governments are just the pawns at the hand of the super rich oligarchs who control everything. It means like businesses control and run countries rather than countries controlling businesses. So, is AI going to enable that uh, cyberpunk universe for us?
So I think, what you said is, I kind of believe in that, right? So this is very much likely to happen, because, as you said, the pace is very, fast, right? It's moving very fast, and government, because it is government, cannot compete with the technology companies like Google, OpenAI, to do these things. So yes, these companies will lead and government will follow. That is kind of an expected thing, right? And as we have already, established that AGI, once it is achieved, it is going to do a lot of, shift in how people do things. lot of people will lose their jobs, lot of new jobs will open, and a lot of different kind of things happen. Maybe the jobs won't even open because we have AGI to do every sort of things, right? Imagine in a factory, right, we don't have any employee, right, and only AGI. What will the people who are working there will do? They won't be able to do anything. Consider white collar job, right? So people who are doing data entry, call centers, everything. If AI is taking over, then they will not have any kind of a job, right? So a lot of people, these kind of peoples, right? They are normal people, right? They have families and they might be having a lot of loans on their head. So suppose if the main earner of a family, they lose their jobs, so what will happen to the loans they are taking? They will default, and when that happens in a large amount, right, that will lead to recession. When so this kind of a dominoes effect gets placed, and eventually it will be a big chaos, right? If AGI is able to displace a lot of people, it's gonna go into recession, things gonna go into recession. And that's why the role of government is very important to take care of things, right? So I can understand that because things are very complex, government might not be able to take steps very quickly, and people have to suffer for some time. So I recently heard that European Union have adopted a lot of new policies regarding AI, and they have also asked a lot of companies to implement that from 2025 itself. So yeah, things have already started happening from the government side. But there are a lot of countries like third world countries like India, or other countries which are not that up to mark to the technology, which might be lagging behind, and they might be late to the party. They might be late to save their people from such kind of disasters. But ultimately it's government who should be able to protect people. And we have a few concepts like UBI, universal basic income, where government will charge a lot of taxes from these companies which are using AI technology to make profit. And because of this taxation, they will be able to distribute the certain form of income to every citizen in the country, so that they can sustain themselves, right? They don't have to worry about how food, clothing, or the shelter. So that kind of a basic needs, if the government is able to take care of the citizen, then we don't have to actually worry too much about AGI taking care of that their jobs, because ultimately it will do good. People don't have to force themselves to do manual labor, or the things that they don't want to do, or they are doing this just because of sustenance. So that kind of a thing will improve. But to arrive there, right, to make world better, first the world should get worse, and then it should go better. So that is definitely the thing. And what you told about the cyberpunk world, where certain oligarchs have a lot of income, so that kind of a thing is there with the AI itself, right? So AI is something that not everyone can do it. It's the myth, because it requires a lot of money, right? And the biggest disturbance that we are going to face is the inequality of wealth. The wealth will be concentrated into a very small pocket of people, and a large pocket of people will have to struggle to even maintain their basic needs.
Okay, so correct. So you're talking about dystopia kind of thing.
You can think it of as dystopia, but there are two sides always, just like a coin.
Hmm.
So if government is able to take right actions at the right point, it won't be that bad a dystopia, right?
Yeah, but let me give you a counterpoint of view. Correct. In terms of human civilization, correct. You always had few people who had a lot, and few people have very less. Many people have very less. Okay, and that has been the norm, correct, of all the human civilization. So AGI doing something same, correct? It is a continuing of the same process. So how it is different with AGI impact?
So the thing is that I think AGI is much more powerful than any other general purpose technology that has ever unveiled in this world. That is
Mm.
kind of an undebatable. point, I guess, because it is able to do a lot of things that previously was not even thought of. So that is there. But yeah, things, as I mentioned earlier, that things are not something that is entirely new. It has always been such a case that a large a very small percent of the people actually control a large amount of wealth. So there is a principle also called Pareto principle, where countries 80% of the wealth is taken care of by 20%, and that's actually very conservative. It's actually way worse than that. But yeah, so these things always be there, and that's the role of government, right? So entire purpose of the government is welfare, right? That's their objective, welfare of their people. So yeah, so how effectively government is able to do that, that is up to the government itself. But if we are talking about theoretical or philosophical aspect of governance, government is the one most important element here that should be able to solve this thing.
Okay, so I have this book written by Mr. Rajiv Malhotra. Correct. So, Artificial Intelligence and the Future of Power, Five Battlegrounds. So, people who want to understand more of these, you can pick up this book. So, this book has little bit different topics. It relates to the Indic point of view, the Dharmic point of view. So, let me just go. Economic development and jobs, global power, psychological control and agency, metaphysics, Grid of Four Battlegrounds, and India's Future. So this book is written way before even AI was quite like a trending topic. So this is a well like ahead of time book where he has mentioned a lot of things like big data, evolution of AI devices, healthcare, transportation, agriculture, military, financial services, education, social sciences, so in like he has almost covered all the human things which you can, and it also talks about artificial emotional intelligence, emotional hijacking. Okay, so a lot of things are covered in this book. So people who are interested, you can go and pick up this book. You find it useful. So now let's delve deeper into this. So when you are talking about a dystopia being not as bad a dystopia, it seems like when we are talking about okay, let's delve into one more thing that we'll do it later. So when you are talking about wealth inequality and people having less money and the government supporting it, okay, in general, correct, in general, if you know politics, okay, politics, so in politics, correct, you have pressure groups, okay, who do a lot of policy work, okay, and other things. So do you think now with AGI going to become very powerful, AGI will all the oligarchs will also control the policy institutes and other things, which will make sure that they are not harmed in their interests. So, can governments be the savior of common people? Because, in my opinion, governments are not run by votes. Governments are run by donations and policy groups and other things who would influence them. Okay, you and I cannot do anything to stop a government from passing a bill, but institutions, other people who have influence over institutions and money flows, and they will have it. So government does have the power, or it looks like it's going to be a dystopia. And I'll add one more thing to this: that when we are talking about AGI controlling everything, as it mentioned, from everything, the how would I frame it? Will there be a kind of like a enslavement of people that we have seen in Middle Ages and before time in terms of because their AI would be so much powerful, AI will be so much powerful that it can actually dominate and subjugate people because it will have enough enormous power. So can something be done to like that future can be avoided?
I think these are really profound questions, but
Hmm.
let me start by what you have asked
Hmm.
earlier. So first of all, so as I mentioned earlier, this is not something that is entirely new, and this has already happened in some or other form earlier. And we can always look at history of how things got played. You know, when you can know that when the dot-com era ended, we have evolved into something of a very informative age, information age, where a lot of technology companies has come up like Facebook, and these are not very small or feeble companies. They are the people who will go at any lengths to ensure their profits. So lobbying, government lobbying is actually a thing. It was there before. It will remain, right? So this kind of a pressure on the policymakers will always be there. The thing with AGI is, as we have also already established earlier, it's a bit complex, right? Even the people who are leading it are not very sure how things gonna play, right? So when we talk about policymakers, the government guys, right, they are not definitely in a position to to see objectively if how things gonna play if they take one decision or another. If some policy if some technology people lobby government people in making certain form of decision, the government I don't think have a good enough vision, far ahead vision to understand the implication of their decision. So that's why things here are a little bit murky, and we don't actually know how things will go, because yes, lobby will always be there.
Okay, now let's delve into a bit of philosophy itself. Okay, so we have talked a lot about dystopian things. So, because you know a little bit of the back end technical part of it, so how do you say what defines the human intelligence, and how would you define artificial intelligence in general, in terms of broader points of view?
Hmm. See, when we talk about these things, right, we first need to establish what exactly intelligence means, right? So let me uh, break it down into very simple things, right? So any kind of work we do, any kind of, right, so there is an objective that we have
Uh,
already
okay,
established to
okay.
that thing.
Let me make it a bit helpful for you. Okay, so
Hmm.
uh, uh, human intelligence and also how that it will shape out, map out. So let's say my mother tells me you go and buy a milk. Okay, and now I have an input to go and purchase milk. Okay, I am a human, so I will ask okay, give me money and which brand you want. So I will go and I will know, I will go out to a market, purchase the milk, and give it to my mom. Correct. And that's a very simple task that I am performing. That would be correct. I would not ask my mom to write a 500-page code and send me, and I will reinterpret it, and I will again reinterpret it and find out what is the answer to this. Again, it will be a 500 line code, and then I will go and buy it. But for artificial intelligence, it is about input, and that input again goes back to the LLM database where it gets matched, and then from matching, it will again use the reasoning model and other kind of models to actually come to an output. Okay, this is the output. So when I am listening to my mother to ask me and doing okay, you do this. It takes me 2 seconds to understand my mother needs milk. Okay, and I inherently know how to purchase the milk. I don't have to do a lot of things. Correct. Inherently, I know because I already have a database which is there. Now, for a AI, you have to make sure that it is able to actually understand the input in a correct manner and connect it to a LLM database, which can actually find out exactly the search patterns and then give an output. So, okay, you can go to Zomato and go to this brand and purchase the milk. So now over to you. I'll make it a little bit simple for people to understand.
No, I think this is a great way to start with an example. So yeah.
Mhm.
So first of all, human intelligence is mostly from an intuition perspective, right? We do things based on our intuition because we have lived a lot, a very long life. We have lived years, like 20, 30 years, and through those years we have gained a lot of experience. We won't remember every experience, but this kind of knowledge that we gain from experience get distilled and is saved in an abstract form in our brain, right? And we don't remember the exact experience, but we use our intuition, right? Of what exactly needs to be done. So if a certain kind of an experience is we have a lot of experience of a certain kind of a thing, the intuition gets stronger, right? So if we are going if our mother says, we need to go and buy milk, we don't even worry too much about, we don't even put pressure on, oh, what I need to do. We just pick up the scooty keys, drive to that nearby shop, buy milk, and put it in the fridge. Like, this is kind of a second nature. We don't even apply our brain because our intuition is so strong. But when the same thing comes to machine, right? The thing about machine is it kind of takes the entire work, right, as a one single thing, and there is as I mentioned earlier, there is an objective attached here, right? The objective is to get the milk, right? And how it needs to do it, first it need to divide this entire work into small series of steps, right? And each series of each task in this entire work, right, that we are doing can be it can have multiple ways to do these things, right? I can take scooty, I can walk, I can call an Uber auto, I can do a lot of things. I can call a helicopter and go to the thing. Yeah, I'm just taking absurd options, but see, there are a lot of things, and when we have a lot of options, right, we have to choose the one that is the best, most efficient, and works the best for us, right? So this is known as the optimization problem, right? You have a multiple option and you have to choose the one that best serves the objective itself, that is getting the milk. You know that the helicopter, getting a helicopter is totally stupid things, and it doesn't actually solves our problem of getting the milk when we have other better options like walking or taking a scooty. And that is the most important thing about AI. It is able to divide things into small series of steps, and at each step it is able to take the right option that is available to us, right? The thing about AI is that these options are not outrightly laid out for it. It can discover from its own side, and this is also kind of, we can say that even the AI is developing an intuition on its own, right? But see, the thing is that when we talk about problems like getting milk or doing anything, these are human problems, right? AI doesn't have its problem on its own, right? Everything we are doing is human problem, and the way we talk about human problem is through language, right? We say, right, my mother says to me in a language, Hindi, milk le aao, ya फिर go get milk. This is a language, and that is the reason why chat gpt and other kind of things are very important, because they have solved one of the most important things in the technology, which is the language itself. They're large language model, and they are able to take an input from human in the same manner a human take input from any other human and decode into series of steps.
Understood. So now you pointed out to a two very crucial points. The problem of optimization. Okay. So optimization from a human perspective and optimization from a pure logic perspective is very different. Right. So let's say on the war front, if there are civilians and you have a military target, correct? The optimization problem would be, okay, if I hit the military target, I will be able to kill 50 people, and there are 20 civilians. So it will do the optimization. Okay, I can kill 50 million people, 50 people, and there are 20 people who would be like also get killed. But I am getting more optimization because my objective is to eliminate that military base. So in that case, the pure logic would say go and fire the missile. But the human intelligence says no, every human life is important, and we cannot fire the missile because even for a if there's a one civilian in that range. So And that's why we see a lot of correct they are called AI hallucinations happen. It would be give absurd things, okay, which it doesn't make us sense, but logically it makes sense to the AI itself. And also when you talk about language, correct, so language, every word had different connotations to different cultures, and even within language. So the word called fakkar, okay, so if on the higher reaches on the Himalayas he says he's a fakkar baba, he means that he's a like a staunch sadhu, he's a very good sadhu, okay. But again he says he's a fakkar fakir in the plains, it means he's a beggar. The same word have different kind of meanings. It matters who is speaking, how it is spoken, how is the tone, and which area it has been spoken to, at what geography. So uh, can AI do this right now, this kind of differentiation, and will AI be able to do much better than this?
Um, I think, see, that's the the milestone that AGI, not AGI, sorry, the
Mm-hmm.
AI currently, the LLMs have already crossed. That
Mm-hmm.
what you are talking about is the called the context, right? The context
Mm-hmm.
in which we are talking about certain things, right? So let me say a very very small example here. So Ajay got a plate which has a cake and ate it. So it doesn't know, right, ki whether I ate the plate or the cake itself. So to understand that, we need to understand the context here. Cake is something that is edible, not the plate itself, right? And that milestone of understanding the context itself is already been solved by the LLM. So yeah, LLM nowadays will not get confused about whether if we are talking about a Fakat Baba in Himalaya or in a normal way. So it will be able to understand what people are asking AI very clearly now, right? And also to talk about your other point where we have that kind of a philosophical question about whether one life is important or not.
Yeah, the
That I
famous,
think.
correct. Yeah, the famous I Robot novel, which was on which the movie was made, correct. So the protagonist, person, human, he would have a prosthetic leg or a hand. I don't remember, correct. He would say, I do not like the robots, I Robot movie and the I Robot novel itself, correct. And that novel's primary, the movie's primary objective was to actually give a bit more philosophical approach to human lives, where the Will Smith will say that I got saved and the child drowned because the the robot considered did the optimization that a child is much less much less probable to be saved than a full body human being. So it did the optimization and did, okay, 40% chance of able to retrieve versus 70%. So they saved Will Smith, not the child itself. Correct. So that kind of philosophical thing where the human intelligence, I would say human intelligence, something which is we can't define it, but you can give a bit of references. Correct. To us, our family is much more important than people who are walking outside. Okay, but for an AI, people are just number and data. So, how do you think will AGI will be able to actually make the differentiation, make the distinction between, let's say, family members, friends, and people who are outside?
Yeah, I think so. So what you said also, a version of trolley problem, right, by Immanuel Kant, a very great philosopher and founding father of US.
Mm, mm,
So the trolley problem also is a similar kind of a thing where people have to decide, whether more lives are more important than us, one life. So yeah, so these are also not just problem for AI, but it's also problem for human, right? So if you remove an AI and put a human there, he'll also face the same dilemma, and he also might not be able to, come to the right. There is no right conclusion, but say the optimal conclusion of what needs to be done, right? So that kind of a dilemma will always be there, and it's a very philosophically debated question of what life is important. So this, but then again, there are a lot of work being done on this from the philosophical side. And I think since AI is able to understand human language, it will also be able to understand the philosophy of this thing, right? For example, consider Israel, right? Israel president once said that, we don't, like, I think US or Israel, that we don't negotiate with terrorists, right? So if something happens, if a plane gets hijacked by terrorists, they kind of believe that we are okay, if the plane goes down and people get killed, but we don't negotiate with terrorists, because if we do that, the planes will get start hijacking, a lot of these things will go
You
on.
will
But so
incentivize it.
yeah, exactly. So that kind of a, that's a very intricate way of understanding things, and there is no right answer to that, right? And it totally depends on the people who are, owner of that AI, to make it think the way they want it to think. So that kind of thing will always be there.
Okay, and now we are going to move into the last part of our conversation, and people who want to ask questions, you can feel free to ask questions. My last three questions would be maybe statements or questions, both can be there. So, when we are talking about AGI, will be able to actually mimic almost or maybe surpass human intelligence and do things even humans cannot do. Okay, and we have seen actually in the cyberpunk dystopian movies, novels, animes, correct? So that to be able to actually compete, we will become a kind of cyborg. We are already are, because you will have your cochlear implant here, you will have your hip replacement, you will have your knee replacement. So we are in a nascent stage where we are able to actually use machine parts in our human body. Okay, so are we are we going to see something like that, where the AI enabled enhancements are going to integrate with our human bodies, and slowly we will become more like cyborgs than what you and I look today?
Highly probable, because see, from what I can see is that there are two things here. Two of the one of the most powerful technological developments ever. First one is the AI itself. Second is the biotechnology. Two of these things are, not exactly same, are different, actually pretty different from one another, but they are the most powerful things that humans are playing with, right? And once these two gets merged, we definitely will see a, more of a, how would you say it, cyborg, or human, what was the name I think in certain novels we have
Cyborg,
seen.
cyborg, cyborg, cyborg.
Yes, cyborgs. We can see a lot of cyborgs, and you can see, right. Recently, Elon Musk Neuralink got a, they have implanted their chip in one human, and she was able to draw just with her mind, a painting. So the ball has already started rolling, and in the coming future, I think I will not be surprised if, we see a lot of people, using technology as their inherent organ. Because see, the thing is that evolution, when we consider nature, right, nature is very slow. If nature has to change something, it has to go through a lot of iterations, right? Lot of generations needs to go. And that's where, we cannot rely on nature to, make humans live longer, or be more healthier, or this thing. So that is the reason why technology has to come in, and that's a core problem, and technology will solve that. And if has to solve that through this method, then yeah, people will not be, wrong in not accepting it, or accepting it.
Okay, last question, and it might take some time to answer. So, correct, people would have heard of the name called Neil Postman. Okay. Neil Postman is a commentator and a media specialist who was in 1970s. Right? So he wrote a book called Technopoly. Okay. So in the book Technopoly, okay, what he had mentioned was that the industrial revolution, okay, and also post post industrial revolution, what he specifically mentioned was that technology has always been human civilization's a boon to actually move it forward. Correct. So when we invented farming, that was technology. We use our brains to actually find a process, find a way to grow food and also store food. So technology has always been there, and we have been using technology. Correct. The horse-drawn cart is a technology. Correct. The steam-drawn engine is a technology. Correct. Now he has made a specific differentiation where I will use the car when I need it as an extension of my need. Correct. But when we come to silicon technology, correct, computers and information age technology, it has turned the tables. Now, almost for every one of us, the mobile phone actually controls our emotions, controls our lives. Okay, it hijacks our attention. The mobile phone can be used to change election results. It is used to make you induced to buy products. So now the technology is controlling human behavior rather than we are choosing when I should start my car. So now that is a very fundamental question which I'm going to ask you, is that are we going to remain human beings if this continues, and the human behavior is going to be just a subservient of algorithms, whims and fancies?
I think this is a very interesting question because uh, we know, right? When we talk about humans, right, we are a very dormant kind of a people, right? By our inherent nature, we don't want to do anything because saving energy is biologically implanted in us, right? Because from our earlier ancestors it was very difficult to get food when we are hunter gatherers. So biologically we are very inclined to save energy, right? And so we are kind of a dormant species in that manner if you think about it, and that kind of a mindset is still here, I can say that. So it will be very you know easy for people to latch onto something that does a lot of things for themselves, and they don't have to even move their fingers. Consider your simple how social social media world has been evolving, right? So from Facebook it has come to something called of a short videos, right? First of all, we don't have patience, right? Our patience level is so low that if we cannot watch 30 or 1 hour video long. A lot of people, that's why we stick to short videos. And that too, we have this thumb, tuck tuck tuck, because it is very easy. We don't have to move a muscle, and we are getting a lot of content. So, yes, what you are saying is a very likely scenario that if an AI is able to manipulate people, people will let it manipulate themselves because a lot of people are dormant. And it then comes the questions to the government or the technology leader itself, how they wanted to continue. Because see, the thing
No.
is that we are by default lazy.
Yeah, but we are already seeing this, correct? Like if you do little bit of search, okay, you will find that your mobile phone interface is designed by behavioral specialist, by
Yep.
psychologist.
Yep.
Okay, so that is already being happening. It is
Yeah.
happening at the subconscious level. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's already been happening. So now, if few companies, individuals get together and can create a product which actually has, so many people call the mobile phone as a kind of a worse addiction than the worst drugs available.
Yep.
I won't
That's
name them
yeah.
for because it's a family audience. But anyway, but the worst kinds of substance abuse you can find on movies or novels or wherever, mobile phone is 10 times worse than that in terms of mobile phone addiction itself, and which you can't, which actually does more harm on a long term. It will not kill you, but it will make you a kind of a docile person who will be just spending money on things, okay, without thinking what I'm doing. A lot of people say, correct, why did you buy this product? And most people say, okay, I don't know, because that behavior was induced by the algorithm, not by the human itself. Okay. So looking at it the way AGI becomes the way you have seen, correct? So it's quite inevitable in so many ways.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Now we'll take some questions from the audience. Okay. So we have a question from Rudra. Rudra is a very AI enthusiast. Okay. He is now studying also in college. So Rudra's question is, how can AI become AGI and compete with human mind? Human mind has plasticity. Human plasticity is the brain's ability to adapt, rewire, and learn new skills throughout life.
Yeah, I think this is a very interesting question. So right now, not right now, how LLMs were previously created is by giving it a lot of training data, and a model has to spend like months getting trained on that data, right? And once it is trained, then it after certain more steps, it is now it will be able to used. So there are a lot of things that the model that time earlier was not able to answer, because its experience or its knowledge was limited to the training data. But in the recent times, the different ways of creating LLMs have evolved, and these are very kind of a continuous in nature. What I mean to say is that the data will keep on coming on a continuous basis. Every single chat a human makes to an LLM is used to improve itself, and the improvement of that model happens quite continuously. So that kind of takes care of the plasticity itself, because it is able to understand a lot more, because the data is now available to its on its fingertips, the AI itself. So yeah, this is something that has already been in works.
Okay. So we have one more question from Rudra. On August 5, 2025, Hinton warned AI's rapid growth may surpass human control, urging that keeping AI benevolent is humanity's safeguard.
I'm sorry, like what's the question here?
The question is that correct? So AI, like do we because correct, there's a debate going on the AI front, that shall we put safeguards and limit the growth of AI's power, or we let it run and run its course. So like putting safeguards into AI research and development, like a
Okay.
military use.
Yeah, I think see, this is a very important thing, and what they what they are saying is pretty important, because yes, when you have some sort of a technology that can make decision on its own, it can definitely go out of the hands. And that is the reason why a lot of companies has already started adopting policies regarding this thing. And as I've also mentioned, that European Union has already put in place certain bylaws for for the companies to some sort of an any sort of an AGI they are using. So they have divided the AI itself into few different categories, right? Very high risk, and medium risk and low risk kind of a thing. And any company that is dealing with high risk thing, they have to follow a very strict set of rules, otherwise the technology itself will be prohibited. So this is a very real thing what they are doing. And yes, uh, it's in place.
Okay. Now, no, not this question. This is an important question. So there has been correct. So we have seen the dot-com bubble burst. Okay, and it created a lot of buzz. So and we see the kind of valuations which are there right now with AI companies. We have seen similar kind of valuations were there when dot-com bubble burst. So what do you think? Is there a AI bubble bust is going to happen? One more thing, add it there. So we have seen a kind of bubble being created in dot-com bubble, but the core technology was there. There was a hype, there was a bubble created, which is a financial thing. So do not link AI technology. to the valuations of the companies on the stock market? Over to you.
Yeah, I think that's a very important point. See, the thing is that when we talk about bubbles, right, being burst, that is actually linked with the economy. That's the economical aspect of it. AI is a technology, right? And you can use it, the way you want, right? So dot com, when the dot com bubble burst, why is actually it was a bubble? Because people started using that technology of creating website for just about any stupid things, right? They created a company which has a dot com at the end, and that company's objective was, something useless completely, and people started putting money into that just because it has dot com, and then it got burst. So similarly, in this case, when we have AI now as the new version of the dot com thing, there will be a lot of company, lot of products which will be totally useless and just might be riding totally on the word AI itself. And economically, that bubble will gonna burst. But that doesn't change the fact that AI is a technology and it will be used. So in the dot com realm, there was a lot of companies which came out of that dot com bubble and actually became quite big, right? For example, consider Amazon. Amazon was one of those companies, one of the startups in the dot com eras. Right now, it has become big because it has used that technology wisely for its profits. So similarly, AI is a technology, and yeah, so economically, they people can play it either way, and bubbles gonna burst, but technology will remain there.
Okay, so this is an interesting question. Let me give a bit of context to this. So he's asking, what will be the purpose of life when we reach that point where AI and machines runs the world and we all get say social welfare, okay, and no one has to work. I see sports people and entertainment surviving. Okay, now let me bit of context here. Uh, One thing we need to understand, right, the kind of economy that we had, let's say in the steam age, okay, and the kind of economy we have in the oil age, and again we are going to have a like a hybrid, okay, where the fuel will be the sunlight or the alternate fuels rather than the engine. I see we see in terms of oil being the fuel. So the kind of economy, the kind of economic model that we see when AGI comes, it will be completely different because you cannot run an oil age economic concept on a AI age economy. So they are going to go through a lot of changes which we might not foresee right now. So your question is relevant, but understand your question's perspective. When AGI hits, or let's say as a speculation, the kind of economy we will run is going to be very different from, let's say, a stock market is run today. It's not going. Maybe stock market will not exist at that time. There will be some other economic model which will be running that economy itself. Now, Ajay, to you.
Yes, I think see what you're telling Bhupender is definitely important thing, that the way we do things will definitely change when a new general purpose technology comes, right? If technology is able to like forecast with 100% accuracy, there is no stock market, right? People will definitely knows what stock is going where, right? So it's kind of a thing that will happen, but that's the future things, and we have no idea what's going to happen, and it's totally speculation era we are talking about. So that's there. But also to talk about one of the things that was in the question about the purpose of life, just wanted to
Hmm, hmm,
tell
hmm.
certain things that a lot of philosophers earlier have struggled and created a lot of theories about purpose of life, and they have tied up to one particular objective, maximize happiness of humans, right? So make everyone happy is one of the most core questions of the philosophy, and that I think will become a sole purpose of the persons itself. So now when we have a technology that does a lot of things, I think if we are talking in the positive direction, humans will be free to do what they love to do, right? So they don't have to worry about their sustenance, and that's I think is one of the most important thing.
And to add to that, okay, add to that, we need to understand when we say we want to maximize happiness for ourselves. So by not doing any work, you are not going to be happy and do ghosting and dance. Because why? Because let me show you something, which is it looks pretty antithetic to argument that okay, if human life is much more easier, much more happier, we'll be happier. So people would have heard about the mouse utopia experiment, where it's not done on human, but if you see that a mouse utopia experiment, the mouse were given the best of food, best of facility, and everything, and they did not have to do any hard work at all. End of the day, what happened? The utopia became their own downfall, and they all almost died out because they had nothing else to do in their life and just enjoy it. So sometimes, being, if you have everything in life, correct, there is a proverb in Bengali, okay, people would understand it, shop pele nosto jibon. If you get everything in life, your life uh, is ruined because you don't have any desire to do anything at all. So when you talk about utopia as such, utopia is something which is we desire, but is it good for us as physical human beings? It may not be as simple as that.
I totally agree with that, and that what I was saying was definitely is just a one-sided thing, and I said that in a positive direction if I think, but yeah, definitely what I'm saying will not be applicable to a lot of people, and people will definitely fall into that existential crisis kind of a thing. What exactly do I do now, right? Because if you have everything, then yeah, people will fall into that trap. So it's up to the future to entail what exactly happens. I have very less knowledge about that kind of a scenarios.
Let's end our episode with the last question from Rudra itself. He says AI's rapid spread is like humans, like handling nukes to ordinary people, powerful, unpredictable, and potentially catastrophic without strict safeguards. Let me take this question and then you can answer. See, generally, uh, when you talk about a power like AGI, correct? That will never be landing in a common person's lap anyway. Okay, and yes, but the other way is people who are going to control this AGI, they will have a lot of power to do a lot of bad things. Okay, so first part, that is not going to happen. It is still there, correct? You will be able to, yeah, you are able to use a mobile phone, but you are not able to dictate what the mobile phone is inside the program and algorithm is. So right now it is the same thing. The Google and other companies control what you see, how you see, how often you see, how you react to it, and it changes your behavior. So same way, the AGI will come and it will be able to actually manipulate you in so many ways. Okay, but the common people will not have the power to actually manipulate AGI itself. Ajay.
Yes, I think that's actually true, and that is the reason why governments has a very important role to play. The thing is that the most important thing that is happening with AI is its democratization, right? Because when it is democratized, you cannot have any one single entity who takes hold of the entire power of AI, and that is the most important thing that will help evade these kind of things. Along with that, government is working on creating policies, as I have also mentioned earlier, to ensure every kind of a company or a nook and cranny kind of a business that is using AI, its use case, its objective are not nefarious, right? But again, as as things can go any direction, there can be very powerful people who can secretly develop these things. But yeah, handling nukes to ordinary people definitely will not gonna happen because it's a physical thing, right? So that is still under government's control. But yeah, we are just speculating, right? Anything can happen. All have seen Terminator.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Ajay, for joining us. We really appreciate you giving us your time and discussing things. I think people would have learned a few things today, maybe because it is our point of view. So don't think us as we are experts or something. We are just trying to discuss things that we discuss over time. yeah, we have some capabilities, like we understand a few things, we've done a few things, so we have some knowledge, so we have to share it to among people so that they can also contemplate on it, and don't get too stressed. It's far away, so don't worry. Upskill yourself, learn new skills, try to adapt. It is not that okay, tomorrow you're going to lose your job and you're going to be away. So stop making things like, don't think a lot what will happen. Just do your thing, and things will fall in place. So that's how things work.
Thanks, Bhavendra, for having me here. It was really nice, chatting on these things. These are really interesting things.
Thank you. Jai Shri Ram, Vande Mataram.